7 o'clock in the morning over there. Let's not waste his time. He is the one and only Robert Whittaker. There he is. Robert, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Always with the pro setup there. The microphone, your microphone is 1,000 times better than mine. You got a better you got everything better than mine over there. I'm very jealous. Thanks for doing this as always. Have you been playing some guitar? What's going on behind you over there?
I have. This is just me knickknacks. It was a bare wall at one point, so, and people were saying it was looking terrible on the podcast. So, yeah, just thought I'd add some decorations.
Oh, okay. So the guitar is just a prop.
No, I did muck around. I picked it up during COVID, like I think 99% of everybody else did.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fun. It's like almost a meditative thing for me to do. You know?
Okay, you still play it?
Yeah, I still muck around on it.
Yeah, you know? What kind of music?
Just in case this fighting thing doesn't pan out.
What kind of songs are you playing on that? Like, what is the genre that you usually play?
I play a lot of like 90s tracks.
Okay.
So I muck around with like songs like Shimmer and things like that.
Ah, I love that. Yeah. At first I thought you were saying that you play the Macarena on it, but you were saying mucking around.
Yeah, mucking around. Sorry, it's still early. My words are still slurring.
No. It's because that's a word that is more. I felt like that was a little bit of a shot that we made you get up so early for this one. Was that a shot? Now I'm going to feel guilty about that shot.
No, definitely not.
Is it still summertime over there? Or has it gotten colder?
No, we're coming into fall. It's getting colder, hence the hoodie.
Okay, I understand. And by the way, what's the GQ thing over? I could do a whole interview just on your setup over here. What's the GQ little plaque on the bottom over there?
That was the GQ. What is it? Man of the Year award I received in I think 2018.
2018.
I had to look twice.
Listen, well deserved. And then those gloves on the top, where are they from? Or the one glove?
They're not significant. They're just what NCAS is that Vegas?
And yeah, NCAS. Yeah, I think it would be Nevada State and SAC. Or did they misspell it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, NSAC. It's a bit little faded. So they're gloves from they're gloves from a Vegas fight by the looks of things.
I wonder which one that is. Perhaps the Rafael Natal win? No, that doesn't feel significant, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking Gastelum.
Gastelum, okay. I was going to say Colton Smith. Maybe Colton Smith? No, that's too long ago.
That's just too long. Anything that wasn't last year or the year before probably is just buried somewhere. So they were just on top, and I was like, well, I'd do that. So I threw it up there.
Well, it's a great setup. Well done. Could I ask before we get into everything current? I really felt for you with the whole Sydney thing. No, it wasn't Sydney. It was Perth, but it was a home game for you that you couldn't compete. How frustrating was all of that? Because the part that I didn't understand was why couldn't they find you someone else to fight?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I was in talks with the UFC a lot, and we were in talks as well. And yeah, I guess it's just the way the chips fell. I was very upset with Costa kind of playing silly buggers a little bit. And I think you were the one that was like pretty sure he said he's not fighting. Like,
yeah.
And I refuse to admit it. Well, I can't think he's not fighting anyway because it changes the mentality for the camp and the training. But yeah, I was just putting in as much work as I could. It fell through. Speaking of the UFC, they didn't have anybody to fight because I think a lot of the top 5 or top 8 even were lined up to fight that month or had just fought the month before, or had just fought the month after. And I don't know. Another thing might be that they wanted me to be available for how the chips fell with Adesanya and Pereira afterwards. And I guess that's where it leaves me though. It's like still sitting here waiting.
Yeah. And they come to your, like, I feel like you should be a shoo-in anytime the UFC comes to Australia. So to kind of take part as a spectator and not compete with that great crowd, and they hadn't been to Australia in all those years, being like, it must have been difficult for you, right?
Well, yeah, it was difficult in a sense that the whole week I felt like I should be doing something,
yeah.
And it it was a hard week to relax in. And, you know, I also, the fact that I wasn't fighting, and I had told so many people that this time was the time I was going to fight.
Yeah.
You know, I did as many fan events as I could, like worked myself ragged, and that was full on. So I still got to see a lot of people, you know. Yeah, it is what it is. Don't dwell on it too much.
Yeah, I am hearing that they might be coming back maybe in our fall, which I guess would be, I don't know if that's your winter or maybe your spring, I guess. Are you hearing that as well?
Is fall for you guys like
September.
Halloween?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's a bit of a wait.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a wait. Yeah, I'm in a funny position right now with I guess what happened with Izzy and Pereira. Obviously, I was obviously happy for Izzy because I've spoken about it multiple times that like I really want to fight Izzy again. Like I really want to fight him specifically. I want to beat him for the title. I didn't realize how much I wanted to beat him in particular until, you know, it could have gone another way, until there was a possibility that I could have been fighting Pereira for the belt. And which is funny because I know you've brought it up as well. It's like, do you want to fight him or do you want to fight for the title? Like, what do you want to do? Right. And yeah, that's, and I always said, it doesn't matter. I'll fight anyone. I just want to fight for the belt. But in actuality, watching that fight and watching what could have been, I realized that, like, no, I want to fight Israel. Like, I'm going to beat Izzy the next time we come across, you know? And yeah, it's funny how important that, you know, stood out to me. So I guess I'm in a position right now where either they're happy for me to have that rematch with him, you know, and I understand like 3 attempts. I've seen the things like, oh, Rob's just going to keep fighting him. Rob, just give it up. Blah blah blah. You know, you see the stuff, and it's like, yeah, but what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like I can't quit. I'm in this game, and he's got the belt, and I want to win. I want to take that off him. I'm going to beat him. Izzy fought Pereira 4 times over the course of his career. You know, I'm only going to need to fight Izzy 3 times because I will beat him that next time. I am 100% confident that I will beat him that next time. And yeah, so there's that option. Or if I'm not fighting for the title, if I'm not fighting Izzy, then I want to fight much sooner than September or October.
Right. Okay, so there's a lot there that I want to ask you about. Number one, you were on, and this clip kind of went around, I think you were on like the UFC's Twitch stream when the fight was happening, and they showed you, and there's like a clip of you like when he knocks him out. You looked actually to me, and you tell me what you were really feeling, like you were kind of pissed because what people assumed was like, oh, now, you know, like if Pereira wins, then you're the guy. Like it's easy. But Izzy wins, it makes things more complicated, as you just laid out. Do you know the clip that I'm talking about? And were you actually pissed in that moment?
Yeah, and it's funny. I find it so funny. The internet is such a weird space sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Like, yes. Like it is. I can't even start to think about how weird the internet can be sometimes and what it is as a mechanism.
Yes.
Because you just fall down a rabbit hole. But I saw that clip and I saw everybody and their best friends commenting on that clip saying Rob's upset. Rob just saw his chance flying down the drain. Rob this, Rob that. Like, and I'd like to say that my reaction to this was pretty much the same as my reaction to like 90% of every other times I've watched fights. The only difference is that because of where I'm sitting now, I don't have a space where I can stand up and walk around. But also I didn't have a horse in the race. People tell me that Pereira is a much easier fight for you. Like Rob's going to beat Pereira. Mate, that's a nightmarish fight. Pereira's a great fighter. I was never at a point where I was like, hope Pereira wins, so I'm going to just roll over him. That's not how it works. I was hoping both guys would knock each other senseless, and give each other brain damage. Like, I didn't have a horse in the race, but when Izzy won, when the way he won and he looked on the back foot, he rope-a-doped him a little bit, knocked him out. Like, that was a cool transition. So like, I was shocked like everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when Izzy won, again, what I mentioned on earlier, is like I realized, like, man, I was happy. I was happy he won because I'm not running from Izzy. I'm hunting him down, and I'm never going to stop. For as long as me and him are in the same division and he's got what I want, I'm never going to stop. So and that's just that's just how it is.
So you say he's got what I want, but I wonder, like, if Alex was the champ and Izzy didn't have the belt, but considering the history with Izzy, and they offered you both, which one would you have taken? Izzy without the belt or Alex with the belt?
Okay, that's a tricky question.
Yeah.
Because like, I would take the title fight because that's where the money is. Like, like, that's, you have to do it. Like, it'd be silly not to. But I would always be trying to fight Izzy as well, because I remember you asking me this years ago as well. If Izzy didn't have the belt, I think I would have said something like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, I don't really hold it. Nah, I want to beat him. I'm going to beat him in particular, whether he's got the belt or not. I'm going to beat him, because that's a puzzle that I believe, has pushed me to another level, to be better than I was. And I feel like at a point in my career when, the growths are much smaller, having someone do that to you and be able to present that sort of change in you is priceless. So just like trying to beat him and overcome him that way has just made me so much better for it. And you can see the trajectory of my fights. Every fight proves that. Every fight is better than the last to this day. So I want to beat him up, but I also want the belt. And if he's got both, then I'm very happy.
You've always said the right things to this question, but I'm wondering now, given the fact that you're so open about, the relationship with him, would you say it's personal between you two on your end?
Nah,
no,
definitely not. And less personal than it's ever has been, because in Perth, I saw him there. He was in the crowd. He was a few seats up from me. I walked up to him and I shook his hand and I said, like, I wish you luck in your fight. Because, I guess, honestly, I think I've spoken at depth about the grudge that started with me and him against in our first match. And that wasn't really there in our second match, but definitely isn't there at this point now, because I think I've grown. I've grown as a person. My insecurities probably were getting the best of me at one point. But it just seems such a like saying it now. It seems such a silly thing to get upset about. There's so many other things you get upset about. I've got 4 kids running around shirtless half the time. Like.
By the way, what did he say to you when you came up to him to wish him best on the title fight?
I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I left with a sense of like, he respects me. He respects my skill set, and I respect him, and I respect his skill set, and that's all there is. I think he said, if we got to fight again, we'll make it happen. Like, he understands that, like, I'm never gonna give that up. And I guess the day that I'm happy to roll over is the day that I quit, really, because that's the fighting spirit, right?
If the UFC came to him, and it seems like they have a pretty good relationship when it comes to this, and said, like, we want to do the Rob fight again, maybe in Australia, who knows? Do you think he would say yes?
Maybe. Fighting in Australia is pretty cool.
What if it's just fighting you anywhere? Neutral territory, doesn't matter. Do you think he, like, just the idea of fighting you for a third time, do you think he would say yes to that?
I honestly don't know, and I don't want to put words into his mouth. He knows I'm one of the hardest fights he's had. if not the hardest, just because of the rate at which I grow and the skill set I can employ. You know, he knows how close that second one was. You know, and that was after a pretty impressive win by him on that first time. So to put himself across from me for the third time, it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
You did say that, you know, for like 100%, third time you beat him, and obviously every fighter is going to be supremely confident. But you say it was such like you are so certain of this. Why do you feel so certain about this?
For one thing, is going through that second fight and him not knocking me out, like, was massive for my mentality, for my space, because before he beat me that first time, like I wasn't as worried about it. And then after that first time, I was like, it's a thought that's always in a fighter's head, especially when you fight the same dude, same reach. So that second fight, I went in with much more hesitation and worries than I normally do. You know, it crowded the headspace. So going through that fight and the worst result not happening, like I realized after that first round, after I got dropped in that first round because of how hesitant I was, okay? And after that round, I realized, hey, it's not going to play out like this. He's not going to knock me out. My defenses have improved. I'm not doing anything reckless. I can take him down. And yeah, I was much more free to do what I had trained for. And to have a camp in preparation for Israel, where with a headspace knowing that, like, he's not just going to walk up to me and knock me out. I can take the fight and land hands on him, like, throughout the entire course of the fight. I can take him down wherever I want. It's going to be a completely different dynamic going into the third fight. That's what I said. Like, the first fight was bad for me. The second fight was, you know, I was so close. I was so close. And that third fight, yeah, it's done. I'm going to beat him.
Are you surprised he knocked out Alex?
No, not really. Not really. It's not like it wasn't something he could have done. He almost did it in the first fight with him in MMA. Yeah, it wasn't crazy. I thought, going by the way I was feeling the fight was going, the way the fight was heading, Alex was slowly chipping away, slowly building up momentum to start, you know, landing some damage in those later rounds, which is what he does. I thought we were going to see much of the same the first time they clashed, but like, to Izzy's credit, he hurt Izzy. Alex jumped on it, but was throwing combos with his hands down. And you know Israel had studied that particular movement. And when Alex is coming in to try and finish someone, his hands are low. His hands were by his waist, and Izzy took advantage of it. You know, you can't play with small gloves.
Have you, so it's been 9 days since that fight. Have you or your team made the pitch yet? Do you have any sort of sense as to what they're going to do? Have you talked to the UFC about the potential third fight?
We're talking with the UFC. Like, we have a good relationship, but they're quite swamped right now. You know the UFC story makers are trying to pick the pieces up, because in their storybook it went, Pereira wins again, I fight Pereira, Izzy fights me. That's this is just how the story makers work it. Okay, didn't play out that way. Now they have to make a new story, which makes big dollars. With Pereira leaving the division, it puts us in a position that we were in 2 years ago. So, yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know.
Are you surprised Pereira's moving up?
Definitely not. No, that's the least surprising thing of all that happened in the last couple of weeks, because he's huge, dude.
Yeah, he's gigantic.
He is absolutely huge. And props to him. I think he came out and said that I'm going up not because I can't make the weight, just because it's an option that I have.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta, you gotta question. You gotta wonder how accurate that is. I'd say something like that too. I can still make middleweight, sure. I mean, welterweight. Nah, dude, he's a big guy.
When his team, and I understand where they're coming from when they say this, but they're talking about maybe Sean Strickland. There's DD. Like the only guys that he hasn't fought are Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. It doesn't seem like a lot of talk about you, and yet on the flip side, he did fight Alex 3 times and beat him in the 4th fight. Does that bother you at all that he got? And I know 2 were in kickboxing, so some might say not apples to apples, but very similar situations, right?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me because, mate, I understand the position that I'm in. I understand that I fought him twice and I want that 3rd fight. And if I have to ruin a lot of other people's days to get it, then I'll do that. It's happy to do that. That's kind of my argument. Is just that how many times he had a shot at it. It took him 4 times to get the win, where I know it'll only take me 3.
There is a precedent, right? Volkanovski and Holloway, right? Volk got 3. Holloway got 3 cracks. He was champion the first time. It's very similar to your situation. Even Demetrius Johnson and Joe Benavidez. Benavidez was 0-2, got another crack. So it's not like this is the craziest thing in the world. Do you feel confident that it happens?
Yeah, definitely. When is right. Anybody's guess, but it's not unprecedented. Like it will happen as long as I'm doing the right things that I am doing, and I'm making enough noise. It'll happen, and I guess that's the beauty of having a ladder, having rankings. Like that's just how it works.
We were trying to figure out if he is fighting someone else next and you want to be active, who might be available for you. Only 2 names came to mind, and that was Paulo Costa, who you were supposed to fight, or Khamzat, who I know there's been some things where he said he was going to fight you and then you said you were never offered. Do either of those guys interest you?
So Costa upset me. I'm not fighting him because, mate, this is the 2nd time I was supposed to fight him and he's pulled out. And it just mucks everything up. I have to do a whole camp and I make expenses and costs and everything like that to get to a point where he falls away. This is the 2nd time he's done it. I want a fight that's going to happen. I want a sure thing. And Chimaev, he's not in the division rankings. Like I'm not a huge fan of guys just sliding in, fighting wherever they want. It's a different place. Like the rankings are there for a reason, right? I like fighting top 5 guys. Like that's just where I'm at. I like fighting top 5 guys because they're the guys that they're the best of the best, and they've worked their way through the division to get there. It is so much harder to work your way through a division than to just slide in at the top, because like so much easier. If you have 1 fight or 2 fights and you get to fight, like for your 2nd fight, like Pereira, there are a lot of dudes in the top 20 of the middleweight division that'll give Pereira a hard time, much more of a hard time than Israel. And that's the truth. And you know that. Everybody else knows that. There's some dudes in there that'll give him a nightmarish run for his money. And that isn't for a title. And that's the case for just about everybody. That's why I like these guys that are in the top 5, because they've worked their way up, much like I did. You work your way up and you beat all these contenders. And yeah, I don't know. I like that. It's a system that we have and should be respected.
No, I totally agree. The problem is you fought all the top 5 guys. So I guess the next one, the guy who isn't on your resume, who you haven't fought, is Costa, but you're saying you're done with that.
Isn't Dricus number 5? now?
What I'm looking at right now, he's 6. So.
So close.
Yeah. So, does that one interest you?
Yeah, like it does. As much as the Costa fight, I just want. If I'm not fighting for the title,
yeah,
I want a fight to happen. And Costa, the chances of it not happening are too great, mate. Haven't been paid since before Christmas.
Yeah.
Bought a lot of Christmas presents. The budget is tight.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm having to whip out that guitar.
Well, you go, but you haven't since September. You haven't fought.
Yeah.
That is not good.
So it's been a while, and I've been training, I've been preparing, and obviously I camped for Costa, and then after that I was preparing for whoever they might fill in, and then nothing came of it, so I just kept training and whatnot. But yeah, I would like a fight. I would like a fight. It'll happen. All the pieces will fall into place soon. I feel it.
I feel like you say that with a smile, like you know something. Do you know something that you're not?
No, absolutely
you know
not.
nothing? Okay. All right. You said that with like a smirk, like I know something you don't. That's the way I read it.
No, definitely not. Like,
okay.
Like if I had anything to give you, I would. I have like nada. So this is where I'm sitting. This is my headspace. I want to fight for the title.
Yeah.
If I can fight for the title, then I'm prepared for that fight. If he doesn't want to fight me, or the UFC won't allow me to fight him right now at this point in my career, then I will fight somebody else. And the date I would look forward, probably I would like to fight in July, I guess. That's like a 10-week prep out there. There's International Fight Week then, which is a wicked card to try and get myself on.
Yeah.
Just because of like the International Fight Week.
Yeah.
Biggest fight week. Biggest week of the year for fights. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm preparing for in my headspace right now.
I like this. Okay. Now I feel like we're getting somewhere. And also Alex Volkanovski is fighting on the card. So there's a bit of an Australian connection there. Feels like that would make a lot of sense. Drickus told me last week he'd be ready to go in July. He had no surgery. So maybe that's the fight, a little number one contender action there.
Mate, he was getting no surgery. I would have done it for him for free. For free.
He can't breathe. He said again. That's a good one. I like this. I like trash talking Robert. This is good. Perhaps now, I saw you dressing up as a pro wrestler there. I think it was Macho Man. I didn't know you had that in you. Where'd you get that outfit, by the way?
It was Hulk Hogan.
Oh, it was Hulk Hogan. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, and they just had the colors on the back. It was just a bit of laughs,
But that was all that your stuff?
No, definitely not.
Oh.
It was the studio. The studio pitched the idea.
Yeah.
And we were like, why not? I'm in the area.
I loved it. You guys, Volk coming out, flipping the bird, which surprised me. I didn't know you could do that on Fox Sports in Australia. Here, you would get in trouble for doing that. You guys really leaned in. Well done.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna do something, you got to commit.
Yes, 100%.
Got to go the whole way.
So to recap, what we're shooting for is we're going to get the title shot. It's going to go your way this time. You're open to another fight. You just want the fight to happen. You're open to coming back in July. You want to come back in July. And then maybe it works out. You know what I think happens, Rob? Can I be honest with you? This is what's going to happen, I think.
Yeah. Tell me.
I think that he's going to fight Sean Strickland is what I think is going to happen, just because they want a quick turnaround and they want a somewhat winnable fight there. Gets his Strickland fight. He gets the payday. You fight Drickus. Number one contender fight. You fight Izzy in Australia back into the year.
That doesn't sound bad. Like, yeah, it doesn't sound bad at all.
Where you can will that into existence, or the next time you have a meeting with the UFC brass, just three-way me in, and I'll pitch it on your behalf if you're too shy. They love my ideas.
Well, yeah. Well. That was a good one. Yeah, I guess that's the whole thing. I'm hunting for that title shot against Israel. I want that shot. It's just a matter of whether the UFC play it now or I have to gatekeep some people before that happens.
When it's all said and done for you, old man, 80 years old, sitting on your porch with your kids, whatever. Do they have porches in Australia? Is that a thing, or is that just an American thing? I don't know. You guys have porches?
Porches? Yeah. Wow. Do we call them porches? what do we call it? I think the front porch.
Yeah, front porch. Do you think it will eat you up inside if you don't get that third crack?
It depends how it happens. If like I'm beating everybody and I still like it doesn't come to existence, I'll be upset because like it's a ripoff, you know. But if there's no other reason why it wouldn't happen. Like if I beat enough people, there's going to be nobody left to fight. It's going to be just me and him.
By the way, how was Dungeons and Dragons? My guy Frank over here gave it a 7 out of 10. What do you give it?
And okay, so unbiased. So I love D&D.
Okay.
So like I thought the having like it being a D&D world, I give it like probably a 9.
9.
I'd give it a 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually gave it higher than a 7.
No, you gave it a 7. Okay, Frank, type down.
Yeah, I give it a 9. I thought, but unbiased, I can't do unbiased. Probably anywhere between 8 and 9 because it's a D&D movie. Like there's so many throwbacks to like D&D stuff if you like D&D stuff, and then just like the movie's funny. It's actually funny. It's well put together. Yeah, the script was so well done. Like, and
it's not a bit nerdy, the D&D stuff. I mean, I feel like it's a bit nerdy. No.
Nah, the way they did it was good. Like no less nerdy than Avatar.
Right, that's pretty nerdy too. Did you see Mario Brothers?
Straight up. I did it, and that's another movie that surprised the hell out of me. Unreal.
Yeah, it was unreal. Which was better? I saw it. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. The animation was great. Which do you rank higher?
Oh, they're two very different things.
Yeah.
Like I'd go to the movie. Put it this way, I never watch movies twice. I'd go to the cinema again for both those movies.
Wow,
just 'cause they were great.
Wow, that's high praise.
They were good. Like two of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Whoa. Didn't you go to like the premiere of D&D? I saw a picture where like all the characters were
did.
How did you score that?
I did. I was asked. Just asked, like, hey, can I get some tickets? And no, they were great. They sent them out to me, and I got to go there with a couple of my friends. And we watched it. It was it was unreal. It was a good.
Did you dress up?
Time. I did not. I did not. But they did. They had like there were people that were dressed up there, and they had guys in armor and knights.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's a big thing. You know, one thing I've like that reminds me of one thing I want to go to that I've never been to is a Renaissance fair. You ever been to one?
No. What is that? Where everyone dresses up like medieval people?
Yeah, and they do that for the day.
Well, you want to dress up as one of those guys?
Yeah, dude.
Why?
I want to go there, and I don't even know what medieval people do back then, but I want to do whatever it was they did.
Wow. Do they do that in Australia? Can you go to a fair like that?
I'm sure they would somewhere.
Wow.
Because if it is an open market, I am going to jump into it.
Wow. Have you ever been to medieval times? Have you ever been to one of those restaurants?
I haven't. Oh, I might have gone. I think I went to one in Vegas in the Strip.
Oh,
what's that place?
Yes.
What's that hotel?
Oh, is there a medieval hotel in Vegas?
Yeah. It's like a big castle.
Oh, is it Excalibur?
Yeah, Excalibur. They have like little dinners and events there where there's like jousting and stuff.
You like that?
I went to one of those. Jousting, watching proper jousting would be good. Like watching the safe jousting, not so much.
Right.
But if you watch two horses going like 60 miles an hour at each other with long sticks, like who's not going to tune in for that, dude?
How is it that the two baddest middleweights on the planet, both like Izzy with the anime, you with the Dungeons and Dragons? I mean, I guess there's hope for all the nerds out there.
Let it be said, I also like anime. I just don't. I just don't dance and dress like it in public.
Oh my gosh! What about Alex rocking the Pokemon shirt? You saw that, or jacket before the fight? You saw that, Pereira?
Oh yeah, I did. I don't know what the reason for that was, but
I think he was trying to troll.
Why not? Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Did you like his? Did you like his celebration? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I thought like the bow and arrow bit was like really, really cool. Got to give it to him. But I thought the bit with Pereira's son was a bit petty. Like, and he admits
He
that
said it
he's
himself.
a petty dude. Yeah, he's a petty dude. But like, dude, you can't hold a grudge on 5-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like, if I held a grudge with every 5-year-old that pissed me off, I'd be fighting for the next 40 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess that's the definition of petty, though, right? Holding a grudge against a 5-year-old.
Yep.
So,
like, and can I just clarify something?
Yes, please.
Because he said he's petty, so he admitted it with such like energy, right? To everybody listening and watching, that doesn't make it a good thing. Okay, don't get confused just because he does it and admits it like a champ that it's a good thing. Okay, don't be petty. It's not good.
It doesn't excuse it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse it. Okay, he may do it, but that doesn't excuse it. Like, don't be petty.
All right, that's a good note to end on. A pleasure as always, Robert. Thank you so much for the time. Good luck to you. Hopefully it works out, and this plan that we've laid out, that we've put into the universe,
that we just brainstormed.
Yeah, I like that. I think we got to a good spot. You can clip this off, send it to the UFC brass. I'm sure they'll do the complete opposite because it was discussed on this show. So probably don't do that. I always appreciate, as I always have to say, appreciate you getting up early for us. Thank you so much. All the best. Great to talk to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me, mate. It's always a good chat. Have a good one.
There he is, the one and only Robert Whittaker. What a gent, what a mensch.